You double check that we're right side up. We're in. All right. Om Mangalam Gurudevaya Devye Matriksha Mangalam Mangalam Bhakta Brindebhyo Sarvalokaya Mangalam Om Stapakaya Chadharmasya Sarva Dharma Sarupine Avatar Varishtaya Ramakrishnayate Namaha Om Sarashiva Samarambam Shankarachara Madhyamam Ashmarachara Prayantam Vande Gurum Paramparam Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Gurureva Param Brahman Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Ganesha Guru Jai. So last 2 weeks we had guest speakers. Swami Pranavananda from Rameshwaram, which was very exciting. His unique style. And last week, what a beautiful satsang from Swami Sarvadevananda. Very important. So, but the week before that, we started thinking that would be a simple talk on a bird's eye view of Kali Puja. I become a foolish view of my own speed at talking about stuff. So, actually, talking about somebody requested online that they're watching our satsangs at Kali Mandir, and they're also watching pujas here. And be nice to know something a little bit so they can follow along a little bit, or just kind of know what they're watching, you know. And so they asked if we could speak a little bit about puja. That's what started. And while this is not a class on how to do puja, right? Although those who are learning puja or want to learn puja, this will give information. But the puja ceremonies that we're doing are a great way of understanding lots of big ideas, and especially the tradition of Tantra. If you start going, let me give a lecture on Tantra. There's different schools of Tantra, and it started a particular period of Indian history, putting together different trains of thought, and people are classified into different forms, and the three primarily. You can give that type of, but that's it has maybe some value, and we can give such a talk, such a series. We have given such a series of classes, but the way we understand it is by our practical use, our practical engagement. When we were giving for a while, many years ago, we gave a class at UCI through the Yoga Studies program called Subtle Anatomy, and it's for primarily yoga people who are like yoga teachers and people who've really gone through appropriate teacher training systems that were available at the time. This was a long time ago, so they've changed a lot, and wanted something more. And so they took classes through these yoga studies program for philosophy and some of the more technical stuff. And so my class was on subtle anatomy. It was a seven-week class, I think, 7-session class, right? 3 hours a session. So it was a lot of information was given. But the thing is, my specialty isn't on the chakras and the nadis and the pranas like that. But we do have knowledge of these things because we understand them because of the way we're engaging them in puja, and our practical yoga and our practical tantra. And so people got a lot of information about ritual and puja, even though there was not a class on puja. But I organized my things around this puja. That's how we've understood so many things. So it's a good opportunity to speak about larger tantric and spiritual Vedantic principles as to a practical example of how it's done. So we'll continue. So the last time we spoke, I think we went 2-3 pages through our regular puja book. There was a small puja book we published called Simple Kali Puja. It's the big puja book in a super simplified form, because the pujas that we're doing, puja in general, the different schools of puja, different forms of puja, but especially Tantric puja, and most puja we can qualify as Tantric. We'll describe that as we go along. But especially like this format of puja, we call it specifically a very self-consciously Tantric puja, will follow the same basic steps. There's an auspicious invocation, there's a purification, there's a sanctification, there's internal worship, external worship. It goes through these stages. And so what we did was a small book. It's very small. It's very simple. Once it's learned, it can be done in 10, 15 minutes probably, where although when people first start practicing even the small book, it may take an hour. They slowly, because ritual is learned, not natural. That's the nature of ritual action. You have to learn it. Our attempt was to have all the main parts of a more elaborate puja in their minimalist form. What's the minimum that's still without leaving anything out? And along this structure, the skeleton, you can keep each one of those. You can keep expanding and expanding and expanding. So like purification could just be sipping water 3 times, and it can. There's all kinds of mantras and sprinkling of waters and prayers and visualizations to accomplish that. So that one aspect of achamana, the sipping of water, can be one mantra, or it could be 20 minutes of mantras and visualizations and procedures, and with some kusha grass and various type of things, So it's same thing with each section could be expanded, right, and added, So this is like the super simple form. What I'm reading from primarily in my lap here is the puja book we're using at Kali Mandir as far as our daily puja. It's not exactly published. Eventually, hopefully, maybe one day, we can bring out another volume, kind of a second from the simple to the less simple Kali Puja, I guess. I don't know what to call it. Can't pick a complicated difficult Kali Puja. Doesn't seem like the right answer, the right title for it, but we'll figure out what to do. So what we did is we started primarily with Mangalarchana, and actually in a certain sense, all we're talking is that this is auspicious, declaring auspiciousness or auspicious invocation, invoking auspiciousness or auspicious invocation. We talked about this opening mantra for Ganesha, like that, and then these auspicious prayers, and then achaman, the sipping of water, and the purification. We mentioned the mantras for that. We didn't get. I think that's where we ended up. It was an hour and a half, and that's how we got through 2 mantras. Also, this one thing where we mentioned where you tap. You've seen people do. They tap their temples and meditate and chant the Ganesh mantra. We mentioned, so that got us interested into talking about Ganesha's function in puja, his worship in puja, and how he's visualized within our astral body. So, still part of the same basic principle of achaman and mangalarchana, this auspicious beginning, and it's not in every puja, but this is where we put it, is called the kavacha. A kavacha is kavacha means armor, right? So kavacha means armor. So there's in a simple puja, sometimes like it's not mentioned here to do that, but actually just the very fact that these opening mantras and praying, oh Lord, please make everything auspicious, right? We remember you inside and out. Remember you, that itself is a type of protection. Remembering God, that itself is protection. When you sit for japa, you don't need to do hours and hours of protective mantras, right? Usually just you think of Guru, you think of Ganesha, Guru, and God, and then you start your sadhana. It's sufficient, right? The more elaborate the pujas, the more elaborate the rituals, generally certain things are elaborated. And so within a regular puja, there are some things that are meant for purification as we get into protection. There's people, we draw a circle of water around us, visualizing a circle of flames. There's mantras to get rid of ghosts, to chase away ghosts and spirits and burrowing beings and all kinds of, the long list of potential astral interference, So that's we do that daily, and in a very elaborate, like during Durga Puja, where these are more elaborate ceremonies, there is, probably 20 minutes of recitation and special offerings, and in the southwest corner where you invoke, you give offerings to all inauspicious spirits, and you go and you send them over there, and you give them a job to watch over your puja. That's interesting. It's like if you have a violent personality that won't leave, right? Sometimes you better just please, but if they don't leave, you give them a job, right? So, and actually that's a very good. The user, so in the extremely elaborate pujas, the spirits and ghosts and goblins and like that are given a job. You protect this puja. We'll give what does the spirit want? If we believe like this, they need attention and they need a form and they need offerings. This is the one thing that a ghost doesn't have. Nobody notices them. They don't have a form and nobody gives them anything. They're hungry, right? So that's great. We'll give them a place, a seat, a job, and lots of attention, right? Appropriate offerings that can make it into their astral mouth, right? Like this, and we give them a job. So actually in Tibetan Tantra we have a similar thing where there's the dharmapalas. Maybe if you've ever been to a Tibetan settlement or temple, usually outside there is another shrine, right? And these are sometimes in Hinduism those would be to called Bhairava. We have a Bhairava shrine outside. But in Tibetan Buddhism, the local deities from before Buddhism and Tantra arrived in Tibet in the Bon religion. So the story goes when Padmasambhava entered Tibet, the deities of the local time, right? They appeared and said, no, right? Because if you start a new religion, we won't be worshipped. This is the belief, like this. I'm not the traditional understanding of Padmasambhava's interactions, right? If you spread Buddhism, we won't be. Nobody will believe in us. Period, right? And if you spread this for a Tantra, another set of deities will be worshipped. You're invoking a different set of deities, or no deities. This is Buddhism and Tantra, right? And they were worshiping. We could see as perhaps fierce forms. These are a fierce tradition, mountain spirits and things like that. So he struck a deal with them, right? He says that okay, I'll guarantee that you'll always be worshipped, right? But we'll give you a place and we'll give you offerings according to your liking, right? And then you become the protectors of the Dharma. You protect the temples, you protect the monastic lineages, the lineages, the temples, and the Dharma itself, right? So the Dharmapalas, or here we call them Kshetrapalas, the protectors of a place, right? And so you go out to one of these temples, and I have limited experience, but in India we've been to a few of these communities, Tibetan temples, and outside, there's burning tobacco. There is alcohol being poured into the ground. These have energies to feed those type of things. Because we can just get rid of them, right? There's mantras to destroy evil spirits. Or like that. But it's everything has its place, and everyone has their place, right? So in these very elaborate pujas, they're also given a proper thing. But then there's a certain point where there's certain types of spirits believed. In Durga Puja we do these mantras. We only do once or twice a year these mantras. That after being fed and offered seat and given a job, still there's some that won't do this. That means that these are very bad spirits. They're not just not problematic spirits. A lot of us are problematic too. You give them your job, Ananda, you sweep. You keep them occupied. But some of that they're just then they're invoked wrathful forms of the divine that shatter demonic energy are invoked, both for our protection and their liberation, right? So the kavacha, this armor, is a category of prayer. It can be put in that part of the puja, which it comes a little later, where we're invoking protection and removal of spirits, or it can be chanted just in the beginning, which is how we usually do it. And so kavacha mantra, every deity has a whole series of kavacha mantras, right? The most popular kavacha mantras, probably the most famous, there's a thing called the Nishinga kavacha. There's many forms of Nishinga kavacha mantra also, but there's a long one that's very famous. That people become famous. Narayana kavacha is very famous. And in the chandi, attached to chandi, is called the Devi kavacha. That's a very long one and very elaborate, very beautiful. We even get the names of these 9 forms of Durga. Oh no, I'm sorry, these 9 forms of Durga, the Navadurgas, are mentioned in that kavacha. That's where we get that traditional list. It says Shailaputri is the first, actually numbers them. The first is Shailaputri, the second is Brahmachari, the third is Maheshwari, it goes like that. Right? That's where we get this traditional list of 9 deities from that text. And the chandi, the proper chandi, because of the power of the chandi, very powerful shakti. It said that it should not be it shouldn't be fully chanted as in stotra form without also chanting the kavacha, this Devi kavacha. It's not considered safe, right? So when praying to God, that should always be safe. What's dangerous about praying to God, right? But we're doing things where we're in this form of prayer and this form of ritual, we're assuming a powerful, mysterious, magical universe, right? This is the. It's not just we're just there's only one. I mean, we can think there's only one God and there's a soul in God and that's a pure thing. And all this is just methods for concentration. That's true. You can think like that, but when we're engaging in these type of rituals, we're assuming that there's power, there's shakti, that you're awakening energy. You're both within you're awakening energy within ourselves. In tantra and yoga, we call that kundalini or prana, like that, right? Or we're invoking cosmic powers in one place. That's in a ritual, into a deity, into a form, into a yantra, right? To accomplish something. Right, or the conscious, energetic thing, something's happening, right? So if that in either one of those happens, there's potential danger. If you're a huge awakening of energy, there's danger. Or if you're invoking a lot of power in one place, there's danger. Both the thing itself is dangerous, right? You invoke, and it attracts attention, right? That's the thing. It's like if you have a bunch of money in your hand, it's potentially dangerous. Somebody gets a lottery and they commit suicide very often. They can't hold it, right? Almost, we were talking the other time, almost like a curse to win the lottery. People's lives are destroyed, right? The money itself is dangerous, right? The thing itself is dangerous, but we don't know how to deal with it, right? But also, if you have a bunch of money, you attract a lot of attention. A lot of people come to steal, or to manipulate, or to like this. So both internally, it's dangerous, this awakening of energy, and this invocation of cosmic energy in one place. Right, it's potentially dangerous. So kavacha has both of these things. One thing, it's when a kavacha, an armor. Kavacha means like you put an armor on. That's a kavacha, right? An armor protects you, right? But another way to think of a kavacha is like a fence, right? And a fence protects you from outside, but it also keeps something inside, right? It also the fencing in puja. Fencing is not just to protect from the outside. It's also to hold. If you have something and you begin to delineate it and control it and fence it, it becomes you gather it, becomes more and more powerful, right? So that's one thing is to hold something in, and also protect from without, right? So both of these things. So this category of hymn kavacha mantras, they're usually invoking various names of the god being worshipped. So the one we're doing is the Kali Kavacha, called the Adya Kali Sanatani Vijaya Kavacha Mantra, something like that, from the Mahanirvana Tantra, the actual name of the mantra. And it describes, the typical thing is like, Kali, may you protect me from the front. Maheshwari, may you protect me from behind. Narasinghi, protect me from the left. It's like this. And then it goes, Maheshwari, protect my head. Uma, protect my face, protect my lips, protect my eyes, protect my arms, protect my... So it's invoking this shield from all directions, from above, below, and limb by limb, right? Some of them are very simple, some just a few things like that. The Kali Kavacha is pretty simple. It only describes the main body parts as being described, right? But some will go into great detail into every corner and every direction, all the tattvas and all the chakras and from protect me from this, protect me from that. It can be like this, and actually either the word patu or raksha. Raksha means to protect, and patu also means to protect, right? So example is, I'll give the first few mantra. Om Hrim Adya Me Shiraha Patu. Starts with a few bij mantras. Om Hrim Adya. Adya means the name for the Divine Mother as the primordial, the original, the source, right? The Me Shiraha, may my head, Patu, protect. O Adya Kali, protect my head. Shrim Kali Varadam Mama. O Kali, protect my face. So you can see it's just going to start going down like this, right? Hridayam Krim Para Shaktihi. May Para, right? Para Shakti, the supreme power, protect my heart. Payut Kantam Parat Para. May Parat Para, the one Para Shakti, protect my face, and Para Para, the one beyond the supreme of the supreme, beyond the beyond, protect my throat. Now we can try to. We were talking over coffee or tea this afternoon. Like, how do these names get connected? Sometimes they're obvious. It's like sometimes it's like, you who have 1,000 faces, protect my face. Then it's obvious. You who hear everything, protect my ears. But sometimes it's not. In this text, it's not so obvious. But if you think about it, maybe we're projecting, trying to find meaning, trying to make it make more meaningful. But parat para also means that which is unspeakable. That which is that not just transcendent, like it's other is one thing. I can describe the other, but other than the other, beyond even what's beyond my conception, that can't be described. So that's an interesting, perhaps, connection. If you start thinking about it, we can just make it up too. It's like para means this, who knows what it actually means. Netrapatu jagadatri, my eyes may protect, may jagadatri, the one who supports the universe. Karno rakshantu shankari. May Shankari may protect my ears. Granum pattu Mahamaya protect my nose. Rasanam Sarvamangala, may my taste be protected by Sarvamangala. These are all different names. So it goes on like that. To my teeth, my cheeks, my lips, my chin, my neck, my chest, my arms, my hands. They go through like this, right? Right. So one thing if you think you're being surrounded by. You could say these different forms of the god. We can imagine them. Imagine you just like, Chandika here and Maheshwari here. If you start thinking about it, it's actually quite a powerful meditation. Or you can also think that these are divine names. Each name is divine, right? And so you're covering yourself, you're protecting yourself, you're bathing yourself in holy names, right? And actually, you shouldn't have to do all these different names. If you have a mantra, what you do, like the amala is, each B represents a mantra. You put it on, you're wearing mantras. You're wearing the divine name. You're being engulfed in the divine name. That's your protection. The real protection is just being engulfed by divinity, right? When you get into tantra and you get into some almost magical tradition, what people do, they write the names in a circle. Then you have like the name itself is believed to have some literally protective power, not just devotional power. It's literally you've heard like this. People do a ritual and then they first will write the names of God around them and things like for protection. These are leftovers of.
Faust, that was the problem.
He forgot to. Yes, he
stepped out. He didn't write.
Yes, and then he was attacked by. Yes. So that's So it's made its way, or it's the remnants of this are still in the pagan magical traditions that have come down in popular times, in present time, right? But you could see that these were done in a very was great understanding in ancient time, and the ancient practices are still being practiced identically or near identically now. Identically, is that right? That a word? I don't know. Is it going to get too cold, or should we close? Are you okay? After a few minutes, when the sun begins to go down, we can close. So here it's mentioning limb by limb, head, face, neck, arms, hands, fingers, like this, right? The whole thing, breath, all that is being mentioned. So it's not required, but some people will touch the body when it's done. So Hridayam Krimpara Shakti, Payo Kandam Paratpara, Netro Patujagaratri, Karno Rakshantu Shankari, Grantapat Mahamaya, Rasanam Sarvamangala, Tantum Rakshakamari, Kapalo Kamalala. You can go like this, right? So then it becomes also a what do they call it? A nyasa, right? Even if it's not touching, just by rotating the mind through the body like that and placing some. Nyasa is something that's going to be talked about more in the puja, the important part of the puja. In the Mahanirvana Tantra, Shiva him says, by the abundance of nyasa comes abundance fruits in puja. So nyasa is a very important part of puja. And nyasa means to leave something, right? Actually, nyasa means to consecrate, right? To consecrate and to leave, and they have a similar meaning, right? So like if I put some if I invoke some holy thing, something to consecrate a stone or statue, you're leaving some divine consciousness there, right? You're consecrating it, but it means you're also leaving something there, right? So it has both meanings, right? By the word sannyas comes the same nyas. Sannyas means to leave everything. Sannyas means to give up everything, to leave everything, but it also means to consecrate everything, right? Fully consecrated, or it means fully everything left. They're the same act, right? So nyasa is when you're invoking mantras and letters or mantras or into placing them or invoking them or leaving them or recognizing them or feeling them into part of it, then what happens? And the body changes. Right now, I have a ugly face, but soon hopefully it could be Kali's face, right? Because actually, what's going to happen through the process of puja, right? We're jumping ahead, but every aspect of puja includes the whole thing. That's one thing. Well, that's one of our friends, Sri Ram, he made a great line. It says, "So everything means everything." He goes, "Yes, everything means everything," right? So part of the puja is that we mentioned last time also that only the Deva can worship Deva, only God can worship God, right? So part of the secret is to get out of the way and you invoke God within. All this is designed to purify and invoke God within, and that spirit, that God herself, do the puja, right? And so you're replacing your face with Kali's face, your head with Ajja's head, right? It's another way to you're embodying in this divine thing, right? This kavacha mantra, this category of kavacha in classical tantra, in the pure tantric lineages, when a tantric diksha is given, part of tantra is not just a mantra that's given, right? There's five things that are given in the tantric diksha, right? One is the mantra for japa. One is, if I get it right, one is, to guess, kavacha. One is the kavacha, right? The kavacha of the mantra is also given. Then one is called the hridayam, and it's called hridaya parayana, the recitation of the hridaya stotram. Every deity has a stotram that's called the hridaya stotram, means a heart stotram. Maybe even Buddhism we have the heart sutra. Maybe something similar. Every deity has the equivalent heart sutra. The most famous one is the Aditya Hridaya Stotram. Maybe you've heard. This is when I believe in Ramayana, Ram was not winning in his battle against Ravana. I believe, and some rishi, may have been Surya himself. I have to admit, it's a little mess. I haven't thought about it. It's a little messy. Maybe you know. Showed up in the middle of the battle, right, and initiated Ram into a mantra called the Aditya Hridaya mantra, the mantra, the Hridaya Stotram for the sun. He said, if you chant this mantra, you'll get victory in battle. Right? So, immediately, as sunrise or sunset was going on in the battle, Lord Ram chanted the Stotram and was able to, save, so that became, because that's become part of an extremely popular hymn, popular story, popular text, that's probably the most famous one. If you look online, if you type in Hridaya, probably that will be the first thing to come up, and you can click and you can hear it. It's so many famous artists singing it. Right, they're very beautiful. I have it on my iPad somewhere, in PDF of Aditya Hridaya Stotram. It's the most famous. But there's a Kali Hridaya Stotram, there's a Sodashi Hridaya Stotram, there's a Lakshmi Hridaya Stotram. So this is one of the things that are that are part of the Diksha. Mantra, Hridaya, Kavacha, Sahasranama, the 1,000 named hymn, or the 108 named hymn. Right, usually 1,000 named. So you see, even in the most famous Sahasranama, Lita Sahasranama, that takes place in the Brahmana Purana. In the Brahmana Purana, when Hayagriva is speaking to Parshuram, the other way around. I think Hayagriva is to Parshuram's the guru. Hayagriva is the guru. Yeah, my brain. But anyways, when he asked for the mantra, along with the mantra, right, is also you forgot to give me what about the 1,000 names? Right, part of the Diksha is the 1,000 names, has to be. right? And then so mantra, hridaya, kavacha, sahasranama, and nitya puja. The daily worship, some form of daily worship is also there. Those 5 things are, and each one of those can be expanded. Like everything can be expanded, right? But these are the things that constitute a tantric sadhana in the classical sense, right? So because of that, we've added it, and for the hira, we have at the end of the thing we have the 100 names of Kali or Kali Sahasranama, Ita Sahasranama. You see in a lot of pujas, and they do in the Mahavali form. At the end of the puja, there'll be Om Vishnave Swaha. There's often the offering of flowers for the 1,000 names or 100 names like that. These are all part of the daily puja. Mentioned that the protection, prayer for protection, we need. Why do we need protection? Is both internal and external, right? External is also people who are really in danger will chant these kavacha mantras, like with the faith and belief and maybe even experience that the deity protects them. When you pray for protection, you get protection, right? And prayer protection is always safe. Swamiji, can you close this? I'm gonna get cold, I think. It's not on the way. But as I mentioned, when you win the lottery, you have a lot of money, or like if you're walking around with a bunch of cash in your hand, right? Then you have to be a little careful, right? Better not to walk around with a bunch of cash in your hand. But certain situations, you're collecting like that, and so there may be belief in common is that there's maybe astral or subtle spiritual entities or energies that we believe are believed to try to take it. This is a nature to steal, right? And so the more elaborate the rituals, the more Shakti is invoked this way, then we may need protection from subtle and astral from every corner, right? But we also have when we're reading the Chandi and like that, we read about the demons, right? They may or may not be external demons, right? In the modern world, we believe less and less in the spiritual multi-terrorist world, right? We give everything a psychological meaning, which is fine. That's maybe just a new way of thinking, right? But whatever the external, whether there's people who are demons who are going to attack you, whether there's ghosts, spirits, and deities that are going to attack you, right? We have enough within us to deal with, to attack, right? And so we have as you begin to do, we have lust, anger, greed, jealousy, envy, pride. The traditional list, but we all have our own list. We don't need an external list to mark. We all know, and sometimes we don't know. We need protection from everything, from aspects of ourselves, and we're invoking. You're shining tons of light and lots of heat into every corner. Right, these fierce forms of the Divine Mother are being invoked within to purify our soul, to purify our consciousness, to purify the space. Right, so kavacha mantra is important. So in daily sadhana, it can just be the opening prayer to Guru and Ganesha and to Ma is sufficient. That may serve the purpose, right? I said this is in more elaborate. We can do day, and so as a daily sadhana, kavacha is very. I know many. Talk a little bit disjointed because there's no one point. There's many points to make. With the first kavacha mantra that I was familiar with is called the Narashinga kavacha mantra. Right, it's very famous, and I've heard many. I have my own experience, but I have many stories of people who are this category of subtle entity known as Brahma bhoots. You ever heard of a Brahma bhoot? This is a Brahmin ghost. Right, not all ghosts are just common. They're not all pirates. There's some that are Brahmins and yogi girls like that. And there was one friend who was staying at an ashram, right? And the ashram, the ashram where where the brahmacharis were staying, was it was a church that was converted into a temple, as often like that. And the ashram was the mortuary of the church. so it's probably a lot of dead bodies have been there. So this boy, Brahmin thread, he was an initiated Brahmin boy, he woke up kind of like a night terror type of thing, as the story goes. And there was some subtle bodiless entity with his finger around this boy's Brahmin thread chanting the Gayatri Mantra. Right? So it's like usually we chant, one of the benefits of Gayatri Mantra gets rid of ghosts. But if a ghost is chanting Gayatri Mantra on your Brahmin thread, there's not a lot of options. Right? And so the boy started chanting some mantras, and the spirit. So the story goes. I can only relate to the story, not the authenticity, pure authenticity of the story. It was 25 years ago that I heard the story also. But he said that he began to chant mantras. The ghost or the spirit just kind of laughed. Right, but then he's trying to remember. He began to recite this Narashinga Kavacha mantra, and the opening mantras for it. Right, and as soon as that happened, right, he said the spirit just kind of looked like, hey, oh, that's not cool at all. Kind of like, and he went away. There's something to it that mantra is like that's not cool, right? Because because there's certain fierce forms of the deity like Kali, Hanuman, Veera Hanuman. Narashinga, Garuda, these are common things for kavacha. These are very protective forms, and they're divine protection against subtly divine beings. This type of thing. So interesting. Kali kavacha mantras. Oh, there's in Tantra there's a classic. I think her name she's not mentioned in this hymn, but in Adistuttam it's there. Pratangira. We gave a long talk on Pratangira Devi in the Kali Sahasranama talk. Somewhere it's there. She's a form, she has 10,000 heads, each one as fierce as 10,000 lions. So she's like Nishingadev, she's the Shakti, the pure Shakti behind Nishingadev, right? So, and she is, according, in Sri Vidya Tantra, she's the protective deity of Shakti that protects Sri Vidya sadhakas, upasakas. And she's always just hidden behind you, towards the left, on your left side, just beyond. If you turn around, just behind where you can't quite see, she's back there, right? But in times of need, she's a very fierce form, right? Very interesting. These fierce forms of the Devi. In the Chandi also, there's a very great line. It's 2 or 3 verses. I think maybe Rampriyadas has this tattooed on his side, right? It says that it starts listing to start describing all these fierce forms, right? Protect. It just doesn't protect you from the front, from the back. This is not body part. From the front, from the back, from the east, and the left. The cardinal points, right? And then it says, "You, O Divine Mother, you have forms exceedingly frightful and fierce, right? And you have forms unimaginably beautiful and benign, right? With all of those, and all the weapons and all those hands, right? Protect me from all sides, right? So it's a very beautiful. And all your fierce forms, all your divine forms, and all the weapons held in your beautiful lotus hands from all directions. You please give me protection, right? I forgot to mention like the idea of tattooing. Tattooing is something in the Kavacha mantras. Usually there is a false stuti, a description of what's supposed to be done, what's the benefit, and usually it's described in the Kali's false stuti. Of this hymn, it mentions it should be written. It can be written on a piece of paper. It can be written on a certain type of leaf. It can be written on a gold plate, right? With turmeric or with sandalwood paste or with some red sandalwood paste like this, or what's the red powder, kumkum like this, right? Or etched on a plate and worn, either kept in the house, worn. You see a lot of these people have these little lockets. You see either on their arm, on the right arm, on the neck, on the waist. So that's a talisman, right? We'd call that a talisman. And so that the very wearing of it invokes that protection, right? And you'll see some people wear, some people, just out of devotion they wear it because part of the sadhana is also the kavacha. But then you have people who live consciously in that world. Like you'll see very often, like pujaris will almost always wear such things, right? Of course, they live right on the edge of this world, right? With these worlds where the normal world of experience and very different worlds of experience seem to meet, right? So wherever there's this juncture, there's potential danger, right? So therefore, pujari types, right, will often wear. You'll see almost all the time they'll wear amulets and amulets like this. Even Sri Ramakrishna wore such an amulet. There was a period of it was due to burning in his body. It was during that time, or I'm trying to remember but it was a couple things. One of the things he was given, he wore a golden amulet was the name of the Ishta. Right, that was to describe. So within it, just something that he wore an amulet, but within this little, I don't know. I used to wear a lot of them. They all broke. Not my lack of faith in it, just my lack of care in holy things, taking care of holy things, right? That they've broken, the clutches and latches are broken. But you put inside on these things just the mantra, the name of the Ishtadevata. That itself is the power of protection, and he wore it for a long, long time, right? And actually, at a certain point when he could no longer wear metal, couldn't touch metal, a certain part, then he no longer wore it, right? And he gave Holy Mother used his golden. It was a gold bangle, a gold kavacha talisman. She described his skin color as in relation to his skin color was it was the same color of his bangle, or his not bangle, talisman of his kavacha, right? And then I think she inherited that. It was worshipped at Bellarmine for a long time. It may have been stolen or lost or something. It's no longer. I don't think it's no longer known. But his original bangle was in existence for quite some time. Kavacha. So that's kavacha. Then Sankalpa. So in the puja, Sankalpa means your statement of resolve, your intention. Actually, we use it very commonly. I made a decision. That the word for that is Sankalpa. Or I'm making a promise. That's a Sankalpa. I'm taking a vow. That's a Sankalpa. Right? In the Satyanarayana puja, it's all about one. I've heard this sounds like a very nice puja. I'm now taking the resolve to do the puja. That's Sankalpa. Right? The word Sankalpa comes from Sat and Kalpana. So Sat means truth, right? This auspicious quality is true, good, true, holy, like satsang, something like that. And Kalpana means like imagination or thought or mean. So it's like your good intention. That means a Sankalpa. Although that's where the word comes from. Sometimes not every Sankalpa is auspicious. Not everybody has good intentions, right? What's your Sankalpa? And maybe you've seen in some videos of, the Hindu mythological videos and like that, where people will when they want to do a curse or something, what do? They grab, give me water, bring me some water. And they hold water in their hand, and then they pour the water in their hand. That's like what they're doing. They're making a pledge. And usually the pledge would be like, by the power of my sadhana, right? It's like this will come to pass, right? If my sadhana has any benefit at all, by my tapasya. This is like a brahmana. What's the word for curse? There's a word for that. Shap. Brahmana is like or rishi, some holy man's curse or holy woman's curse, right? Right. It's by they have by their sadhana they have the based upon that power. They're promising that this will come to pass, right? So that's obviously not an auspicious sankalpa. But sometimes Sankalpa is like something we do. We hold water in our hand. Have you ever had a puja done for you or with you? The priest will put some flour and water in your hand, some rice, and tell you to do like this and repeat after me, and tell your name and your gotra and your birth date or something like that to make sure. And then just put the water down. Right. It's the same thing as doing that. You're not to burn down the world or something like that, it's unless I'll create my own. What is that? Create my own planet, like Vishwamitra Rishi created his own worlds by the power of his sankalpa, right? Usually it means I'm going to do a puja, worshiping Lord Ganesha for the benefit of my family. That's a sankalpa, right? And so they can be that simple, right? And so I think I gave a very simple sankalpa I read in our small book as an example of the ritual form of the sankalpa. Om Kring Vishnu Om Tatsar Om Parameshwara Parameshwari Pritiratam Bhakti Jnana Varagya Siddhyaratam Guruvari Nama Devata Pura Purvakam Sima Dakshina Kalika Puja Karmaham Karishyami. Right? So it starts invoking some mantra. Om always first. And then Kring here is the mantra for the deity being worshipped here. It's the primary beach mantra for Kali. It could be different according to the deity we worship. Om Tat Sat. Vishnu Om Tat Sat. Vishnu is always invoked, just like we start Namo Vishnu, Tad Vishnu Paramam Param, right? And Om Tat Sat. The Gita says all ritual becomes useless without mantra of Om Tat Sat. That's a foundation. Parameshwara Paramapitaratam, in order to please the Supreme Lord, God and Goddess, in order to attain devotion, knowledge, we'll go into that, and I'm doing this puja. So it's very simple, right? It can be more complicated. So the main idea for the sankalpa is that you're in order to make something powerful, right? You have to do things. You have to know what you're doing, right, and why you're doing it, what your intention is, like this. So whatever, like I may not I generally don't know what I'm doing, right? We follow the book, we follow our tradition, we do the best we can, right? But we don't have that full knowledge of how and what. So we start. Okay, Ma, I'm gonna try to do a puja right now, and it's to please you. And if you give me, please bless me with devotion and purify my heart. Something like that, right? And so then we do whatever. The rest of the time, I'm just trying not to mess up and try to do things properly. And knowing that the camera's on me, and they're gonna hear my mantras said wrong or something. The mind goes everywhere. Even if you do everything else without much knowledge, but still the reason you're doing it has been stated ahead of time, right? So that's whatever it is, whatever I end up doing, the reason I'm doing it. It's also good to remember, Ma, whatever I end up doing, remember why I'm doing it, right? That's another thing. If we're doing our devotion for ultimate good, if an auspicious sankalpa, right, a selfless sankalpa, or at least auspicious sankalpa, then even if we do some mistake, we know Ma knows why we're doing it. If we have some selfish sankalpa, right, I'm doing this to accomplish this particular thing for my benefit or against somebody else's benefit, right? That's a different thing. Then you're not going to impress your loving mother for the cute prattling of her children, which we count on in our daily puja. Out of devotion we're trying to do, Ma accepts our devotion, right? But if it's not done out of devotion and out of classical devotion, out of selfless devotion, right, then we better know what we're doing, right? So with some more complicated sankalpas like that, then if you're doing a ritual to accomplish a material effect, then that means that then you're dealing with math and science, right? Something has a result, and the result has to be perfect. Their action has to be perfect in order for the result to be perfect. Right, like a machine organizes energy. A machine is defined as adjustments of means to ends, right? But for a devotional sankalpa, devotion is the most important thing. We're doing things. You try to do things properly so they have an effect, but devotion is what you're offering, why you're doing it. And so you start out with making your statement of intent and remembering in the beginning why you're doing it, but also what you're doing. Right, so it's not only why you're doing it. Like we can do everything for devotion or general happiness, or like we go to work to become happy and support our family, right? But when you do a puja for that, then it's a sacred act. You're doing a very conscious sacred act. So I'm doing. Who's doing? I'm doing. Why am I doing? What am I doing? Right. So we're clarifying. We're stating ahead of time all these details, right? Where am I doing it? When am I doing it? Right? In a legal document, it's like you sign it and you also date it, and you put on September 15th in Laguna Beach. So really, certain documents you're a notary. Some things you need to know exactly where and what. Some things require that type of precision, right? And so in the more elaborate pujas, those things are all mentioned. You start was where you are and when you are and who you are. These are three complicated things. Who are you? I'm Swami, right? It's like, and then where are you? I'm here. But what does that mean? We don't know what that. We don't really think what that means or when. What's today's? What day is it? Is 20th, so the 21st of April. So I really don't know where I am. I don't know who I am or where I am. In general, I'm a very good example of this. The importance of the Sankalpa mantra, right? But where we really are is we can be very exact, right? And when we're in a particular moment of time in the creation of the universe, right? And in a particular part of the universe, right? And on a particular planet, on a particular side of the planet, right? And in a particular country, by a particular river, in a particular when such person is the king, when such and such person is the most recent avatar, you can start giving all these details of cosmic. I'll give you an example. Sima Bhagavato Mahapurushaya Vishnu Agnaya Prabhartamanye Ajyasmin Brahmande Bulakajam Bujwepe Sri Brahmane Dritya Paradhe Sri Shvetavaraha Kalpe Pivashvata Mamantare. Let's see. Among the endless universes created and ruled by the will of the great person Vishnu. So, among the countless universes created by the will of the cosmic Vishnu. Bhagavato Mahapurushaya Vishnu Agnaya Prabhartimanye Ajasmin. So, amongst all these Brahmandas, these universes that have created by Lord Vishnu, so amongst all those, right, in this universe, right, in this particular one, right, given my name, on this planet, Earth, right, on the island of Jambu, this is a technical Vedic understanding of where we are cosmically, and then when? In the second half of the life of Brahma, right, so there's unlimited Brahmas that come and go, right, the present Brahma, right, he's in his, when is it? He's in the second half of his life, right, so he's over age 50, he's 50 something. He lives to be 100 years of Brahma. A day of Brahma is 1,000. There's whole math for that, how it's figured out. Second half of the life of Brahma, during the age, the age that is called Shveta Varaha Kalpe, in the age of the white, Varaha, the white boar Varaha. These are cosmic references. When the seventh Manu by Vaishvata is ruling. So there's been so many Manus, right? So this is during and actually I believe Vaishvata after Vaishvata, before Vaishvata is in the Chandi is Suvarni became so anyway, yeah, like this. So so which Manu is there? On the first foot of the 28th Kali Yuga. So far in this age, right, there's been 28 Kali Yugas so far, right? So I mean, there's many. It's not just the age after age. So we're the 28th Kali Yuga, and we're in the first part of it, the first fourth, right? We're just beginning. It's going to get worse before it gets better, right? You can see it's fall. It's not winter yet, right? As you can say, it's not. So that's the idea, right? The first foot of the 28th Kali Yuga, and then we inserted here during the time Ramakrishna Avatari, in the time when Ramakrishna is a recent incarnation, right? And this auspicious time and place, Evam Guna Vashitayam Shubha Titaho, at this auspicious Tita, and this auspicious time. Of course, maybe it's not an auspicious time. Kali Yuga is not auspicious. Right, and maybe we're in astrologically an auspicious time. Maybe time of the day is not auspicious, but it's auspicious. For puja, it's auspicious. We're declaring on this auspicious time, America Deshe, in the country known as America. I do it in America. California, you can also, these same things can be done with Sanskrit equivalents. California Nagare, Laguna Beach Pure, in the city of Laguna Beach. Prashanti Mahasagare, on the bank of the which ocean? What's our nearest ocean? You have to know all these details, right? Laguna Creek Nade, next to this river. You'd be Gange Nade, Narmada Nade, some auspicious river that's there, right? And then so here, we're in particular Kali temple, Ma Dakshineshwar Kali Mandir, in a home, it could be Griha Lakshmi Mandire like this, or ashrams like that. Then the name of the month, right? So of course it's April, right? But this is a sense we're dealing whether or not the Deva world has their own language, right? So we are in which month are we in? The Sanskrit month. Are we in Chaitra? Maybe in Chaitra. So we say Chaitra Mashe. Today is so Chaitra Mashe. In which phase of the moon? Are we dark or light? Krishna or Shukla? Shukla, because we just finished Amavasya, moving towards Purnama. So Shukla Pakshe, the light phase of the moon, right? Titi. What's the Titi? The phase of the day of the moon. It's Saptami today. Today is Ganga Saptami. This is considered the birthday or the appearance day of Ma Ganga when she appeared on the earth. So Saptami Tirte, and then so you're doing where and when is you've mentioned a lot of big things, right? From the countless universes, one amongst the countless universes created by the great Lord Vishnu. Right? It starts that big to Laguna Beach, Kali Mandir Laguna Beach, California, on this side of like this. Then who? For an example, I'll give my name for the. So Srimat Bhajanananda Saraswati Namne. I'm with the person by name, and then the name of the Gotra. Gotra is your family, the lineage of the sage lineage that your family descends from, right? And of course, some people say, well, we don't. A lot of us don't have. We didn't descend. Some of us descended from monkeys. Other people descended from sages, right? So you could say joking like this. One person. Somebody was challenging Prabhupada. There was Srila Prabhupada was walking, and he had a disciple who they were having a mock debate so he can practice defending against evolution theory, right? And the person who's the disciple is Swarup Damodar Swami, who's a UCI trained scientist. He was winning the argument, right? It was they're a morning walk and in the debate, Prabhupada was doing his standard fight. And then and Swarup Damodar was winning. He was winning the argument. And then Prabhupada says, "Well, you may have descended from monkeys and apes, but I descended from kings and rishis." And he kept walking. That was his, because there's who knows. We all come from we all have different lineages that we come from our family lines, right? And of course, in the Western world, we don't have the Gotra system. Maybe we have no Gotra, or we don't remember. Right, that we all have a genetic family line that goes back who knows where, right? How we got this body, our ancestors, or whatever they are. So sometimes they'll say, like for Vaishnavas, they'll say Achyuta Gotre. If you don't know what your Gotra is, you say, "Oh, I'm coming from Vishnu, Achyuta," right? Or Shiva Gotre, right? And we're coming from Shiva. If you don't know the Gotra, you say. Sometimes they'll say Mangala Gotre from some auspicious line. Right. Maybe we don't forget, but we must be. Can't be that bad. We're chanting these mantras now, so we come from some good lineage. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here doing these pujas. So whatever, we honor our auspicious lineage. So the name of the Gotra, and then the nakshatra. Your nakshatra is your ascendant star, I guess. Is that what they call it? You're a star. That's something that some of us know. Some of you don't know. If you can, there's some programs online. You can find out your nakshatra easily enough. That's an easy thing to figure out by the time of day. So in our sannyas line, we give up our. Of course, I don't know my Gotra, our family line. We're in Tijuana Brahmins. We don't know our original. I don't remember our original thing. So we use Shiva Gotra for many years because that's what Haradan told us. Right? He was half joking. He says, "Oh yeah, the Shiva control all the ghouls and goblins." So you're in that category. So he was, I think, half being funny and cruel. But then at the time of sannyas, you can also use a Gotra as your guru if you don't have a Gotra. Or in sannyas line, the different lineages of sannyas have Gotras that are symbolic, not. So we use Bhurbhuva as our Gotra, and then our like that. So who you are, your name, your Gotra, and your nakshatra, right? And then, so where you are, when you are, and who you are. These are big things. Now, what are you doing? And why are you doing it? These are the other big things, right? What are you doing? So Here it says, the way we're doing it, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa Devam Urisha Satya Pricharatam, or Parameshwara Parameshpitaratam. Pricharatam, Pricha Artha. Our goal, the reason we're doing it, is Pricha. We want to please. May somebody be pleased. Who are we trying to please? We say Parameshwara Pricharatam, the Supreme Lord, or Parameshwari Pricharatam, or Sri Guru Pricharatam. So here we're saying, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa Devam Uddishya Satguru Pricharatam Parameshwara Paramita, in order to please Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa, right, the Guru, the true Guru, and to please the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Goddess, Parameshwara, right? Bhakti Jnana Varagya Siddhartam, right? This is something important, right? This is our expression. This is not everybody's puja doesn't chant these mantras. This is the tradition that we're in. We're followers of Ramakrishna, so whatever, when Swami Vivekananda, we all know, maybe you know the story, Swami Vivekananda's family, when his father died, his family was left in extreme poverty. He grew up in a rich house, right, and a very generous rich man. He was a lawyer, right, a famous lawyer, but he did not leave, he left debt, not money to pay the debt. So the family was left in tremendous, from riches to poverty overnight when his father died. And he couldn't find work, and he struggled so much. Many heartbreaking and inspiring tale of his struggle with his family. At one point, he came to Sri Ramakrishna and says, "You bless me. You bless my family. Will have enough food to eat." Right? He says, "I can't. I've never prayed for such things. I can't pray." Sri Ramakrishna can never pray for money and food, and that's not his thing. He's only praying for divine things, right? Right, but he says, but do one thing. You go to the temple. Vivekananda at that time didn't believe much in Kali. He didn't believe in temples for sure. Kali doubted, but temples itself he was against. Right? He says, no. He says you worship the mother. I don't know the mother. Right? He said, I don't know your mother. Go worship my mother. Thakur said. Ramakrishna said, I don't know your mother. So that's why you're suffering. He said, right? Your suffering is because you're rejecting her, right? You go to her, And so somehow or another he went, but it was an auspicious night. It was a Tuesday, I think, at 9:00 at night. So these are all auspicious time and place at the Kali temple, next to the living avatar, on a Tuesday night. So it was a very good time to get his Sankalpa satisfied, right? Go and pray. She'll listen to you. And he was overwhelmed. He really believed that the Divine Mother really was there. Right, not symbolic, not that the old crazy sadhu guru believed that. He really felt that, and anything he asked, she'll give. Right, and she's a wish-fulfilling tree. Anything you ask, right? But when he got there, when you really feel that this is God, God is here now and will give you anything you ask. Right, so he forgot to ask for a good job and for support of his family, and so you remember the words in Bengali, it's like it is Vairagya, Bhakti Dao, Vairagya Dao, Gyan Dao, right? Give me renunciation, give me devotion, give me wisdom, knowledge, right? He forgot to ask, and then he went back to Sri Ramakrishna's room. He said, "You ask her?" "No, I forgot." "No, go again. She's still there." So he went back again and again. Bhakti Dao, Ma, Gyan, Vairagya Dao. Give me devotion, give me renunciation, give me wisdom, give me perfection, right? And then the third time, and then again, he go back. No, I won't believe he accused Sri Ramakrishna. This is your trick, right? All this is because of your grace like that. You promised me. You have to say it. And then Thakur gave a simple. He says your family will never suffer from simple food and simple clothes, right? So he didn't give him riches. The family, but and actually it's believed that this is a special grace of Sri Ramakrishna amongst all his disciples and followers for all time. Maybe if you work hard, it's your karmas and you work hard, people can move forward and become wealthy and like that. But generally speaking, people who worship Sri Ramakrishna, simple things will never be lacking. Simple clothes, simple food. They won't starve. Right? If they're willing to live a simple life, that's a special grace. But this gyan, give me jnana, give me vairagya, give me bhakti. So this is we say bhakti jnana vairagya siddhartam. Give us, if there's a benefit, we're doing this to please Man. If there's a benefit, may we also get the perfection of, or the attainment of, devotion, knowledge, wisdom, spiritual perfection. Right? Siddhartam. And then this is the why. then Yata Shakti with all this power, Pratyakala in the morning time, or Madhyakala in the time of the day is also mentioned, and then what you're doing. Now you said why, to please God and to get some, if there's benefit, to get devotion, wisdom, to have spiritual awakening. Right? I'm doing Guruvari Nama Devata Purvakam Sima Dakshina Kalika Parameshwari Puja Karamaham Karishyami. I'm doing Dakshina Kalika Puja. I'm doing worshipping Dakshina Kali, right? Karamaham. I'm doing this action, this ritual, right? Karishyami is being done by me. But we also say Guruvari Nama Devata Purvaka, means beginning with the worship of the Guru and the Devatas. This is a unique thing about Tantra. Usually the deity is not, before doing puja of the main deity, you also worship Guru and Ganesha. That's minimum. And in Tantra, you worship Guru, Ganesha, Surya, Narayan, Shiva, and Durga, called the Panchadevata Puja. Guru and Panchadevata Puja, right? So it's like, so I'm going to worship now in order who I am, where I am, why I'm doing, and with a purpose. I'm doing this worship in order to please Sri Ramakrishna, to please the Divine Mother, to attain knowledge, devotion, wisdom, renunciation, right? I'm now going to begin the puja of Dakshina Kali. That's begun with the worship of Guru, Ganesha, and the other deities. That's Karishyami. This is, we call it just like in the Gita, it says Nishkama Karma. You probably have heard this term. This is action without, selfless action, action without kama, right? Because action with kama leads, karma with kama has karma pal, right? Any action done with a selfish intention, or the desire, should I say, has the result, good or bad, right? But Krishna says if you act without kama, the karma without kama has no karma pal, right? It doesn't have direct, in the same way, it doesn't have the same, like that. So but some people are doing act. So this bhakti jnana vairagya asura, these are desires, but they don't count as desire. A desire for God does not count as a desire, right? Like for instance, a desire like vairagya, give me renunciation. What does that mean? I desire to not have desires. That's not counted as a desire, right? It has the same word, but it's not really desire. It's a different thing, right? It's an awakening of our real spiritual nature, not reaching out selfishly out of a sense of incompleteness to something external that's not going to satisfy. That's not the same type of thing, right? So this is called, so that's nishkama karma. So this is called nishkama puja. You can worship God without selfish desire. Only if there's a benefit, may purify my heart, give me devotion. May you be pleased. I'm going to please God, right? But there's others. There's the other things that can be said. A few minutes here. Ishad karmarta siddhartam. This is for fulfilling my desires. Or sakala vigyan nivrutti dwara karya siddhartam. The removal of obstacles and the attainment of success. Right? Sakala vyati nivrutyartam. Removal of diseases. Jnana vyapyartam. In order to attain knowledge, education. Sakala vishikartyartam. This is to get my desires, like to get people to fall in love with me. People do, these are the things, right? Swara Hariya Jaya Vabhyartam, in order to win a legal case. A lot of people come here, people come to the temple and says, Swamiji, can you touch this Lama's feet? I usually don't ask what it is. Usually it's some envelope. Often it's either a job application or a divorce settlement or some legal thing like that. I touched the Lama's feet and I said, may if it's God's will, may it go into your, whatever it is, may it be favorable to you. Our prayer for everybody to be happy, if it's, but I can't do a puja for that purpose. There's priests who can do that perhaps. That's not our style, right? Dhyana dhanya samyurtaratam, in order to get money and materials. Dharmartam, in order to be successful to attain dharma, artha, or like moksha, like that. So you can go like that. So many things that can be done, right? But the danger is that not naturally many people pray. People come to a temple and you ask a pujari, Swami, or Panditji, can you do some puja? We're having some hard times in the family, right? We need to invoke blessings, and because not only as devotees of Ramakrishna, but we're sannyasis. We can't be engaged in ritual actions for selfish intentions, right? But we can invoke the divine. We can create a sacred environment. We can invoke the divine presence, right? It's always here that we have that traditional knowledge, right? And then we can pray from our side that may all benefit come to you and your family. That's a legitimate. That kalyan ho, may you be benefiting. Kalyana, so this is what the sannyasi is supposed to say, right? We're praying for everybody's benefit, right? But naturally, a child, they come to mom with whatever the desires are in their heart. That's between them, right? Now we're not, it's like you can't tell somebody, what Swami Bhajanananda said, you can't preach religion to a hungry person. First thing, what they need to pray for is food. Then you pray for bhakti, so whatever the need is, that's people's business. Yeah. But that's not the same as you come to our divine. We know that God is the source of everything. We need God's blessings to overcome our internal obstacles, external obstacles. That's natural. That's not necessarily in the same category of a selfish intent, right? The general intention to be happy and successful, and these are natural. These are to satisfy the four goals of life: artha, kama, moksha, and dharma. This is the rishis themselves have given us this thing. But it says that God is the kalpataru. He's a wish-fulfilling tree, right? Anything you wish can be given, but you have to stand under the tree. And it's not easy to stand under that tree. The closer you get, the more our desires are purified, right? So like throughout Swami Vivekananda ran to the wish-fulfilling tree to ask that his family's financial situation is rectified, right? But once he got underneath that tree, he no such desire could enter his mind, right? So even the act of praying, even for divine help in our own life, it's self-purifying, right? I mentioned this before. I'll end with this idea of a when somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, a young student in Mayapur many years ago was arguing or talking to him, and says, everybody's praying for money. They're praying to God for money. That's bad. To a young and idealistic person, people, selfish people in religion like that. And Prabhupada said, no, prayer is always good. They're praying. At least people know that prayer to Krishna is always good, even for money, because at least you know that the source of everything is Krishna. Right? Most people don't know that, and therefore we suffer, and we don't know how to fix it. Right? And over time, their heart will become purified, and then they'll pray for devotion, right? And pray to be free of selfish desire. Right? Prayer is always good. So we hold that prayer is always good. It shouldn't be diabolical prayer, like please bring people under my control and kill my enemy and like that. This is not the temple for you. There are temples like that. You can look them up online. Anything's possible for the right price. Anything's possible. There's a priest for every occasion, right? But the main idea of the Sankalpa, whatever it is that we have in us, what we're doing, why we're doing, and we're focusing. And what this is a long, elaborate thing, but what's happening? You're taking these big ideas and you're honing it. You're focusing it. You're focusing your attention. You're focusing cosmic energies. It's believed you're telling the Deva world, him, God's what's happening. So they're also focusing. You're bringing, not only are you bringing all your attention here, you're bringing the attention to the Deva world. They're also noticing what you're doing. Right? You're declaring, I'm declaring in front of everything in the countless universes created by Vishnu on the 24th foot of the Kali Yuga, whatever the thing is, on this, I'm doing this auspicious act, right? So all that's attention, and you're also putting the stamp on you're putting where it's going to go. Whatever you're doing, whatever I'm thinking, whatever I'm doing, that may go for this purpose, right? I'm releasing for this purpose. So if you have a letter, you have to put it in. You have to put who it's going to. A lot of things. You have to put who it's going to, who it's from, return address, right? You have to put it in an actual mailbox, right? And you have to have a stamp in it. All those things have to go, otherwise it's not going to get to where it's going. So these are some technical things, but the Sankalpa is important. In the earliest form of the Kali Puja, our small Kali Puja book, we didn't have, Sankalpa is just too complicated, right? And then Usha said, no, you're doing the puja, you put a simple Sankalpa in, right? It doesn't have to be that long, countless trillions of universes and which moment of astral lunar cycle is, but at least say, I'm doing such a thing on auspicious day, made for this purpose, right? Because it's good to remember what you're doing, and also it releases it. Let's see one second here, and I'll end this. In this book, I wrote some commentary. Should I read the commentary? Only one sentence, but it's good. The Sankalpa is a formal and focused statement of our resolve to perform a sacred ritual, remembering our spiritual intentions and surrendering them to the divine. Because also it's not only it's aiming right, but you have to you have to let it go to where it's going, right? And so this is at the beginning of the puja is a Sankalpa. The final mantra, I'm going to give a hint. The final mantra of the puja is et karma palam arpanam astu. It always says, right? Whatever the puja I just did, the results of this, the karma pala, is I'm giving it to you, right? That's very, very. So it's the same thing as it's how it starts, it ends, right? What I'm doing, may you take the results, right? But the danger is it was okay. No problem.
Over here on this side, there's a New York license plate, I think this is it, and next to it a BMW. Yeah. If you could both move on this side, because you're sticking out a little. Okay. A little easier on this side.
Thank you. So
our driveway's deeper.
okay, as many like everything we can do so much more. As Holy Mother taught on these things, but we'll leave it there. What did we talk about today? We talked only two things. You mentioned two things: the kavacha and the sankalpa. The next part of the puja. Now, once you've these opening prayers, then you start establishing, creating a sacred environment, right? Invoking various holy things and your seat and your environment. You're creating a holy yantra, right? This is the very beginning. Then it gets a little technical, but very extremely sweet and deep. We'll talk about those as we move along. Thank you for your kind attention. Any questions or comments?
This would be an amazing DVD set. This
Maybe that could be. The problem is I'm just talking in circles. I'm not organizing myself, but anyways, it's good because it's a great way. It's a great way of thinking of lots of different topics, but being tied to what we do. Like the Sankalpa takes 40 seconds. Om Kling Vishnam Tasaram Parameshwara. But if you think about it, there's so much to it, and that's what we started when we started this series, is that we take so many ideas and compact them into a simple action or a simple sentence or a simple structure. We talked about multivocalic and these type of things, right? That's what gives ritual action, and especially these. Not just we can ritualize anything. That's not what's meant. These rituals have been handed down, developed for hundreds of thousands, maybe thousands of years, and so they have the test of time, right? But we also believe that they were composed or given or revealed or authenticated and authorized and taught by rishis, right? So it's not like we can neurotically create rituals, and that's a different thing. Or we can design a ritual that makes sense. People now, you have a wedding, you sit with your officiant, you design the way you want your ritual to go, right? Because we need ritual actions. We want these significant life events to be significant, right? To be significant, so we ritualize it. But this is a little different. These are composed, revealed by actually as the next section is we will learn about these mini yoga mantras. That each of these mantras and practices came in the illumined consciousness of rishis, right? And they don't, not only do they hear and know the practices and hear the mantras, but they knew what they were for and what they do, right? And so even us, thousands of years later, hundreds of years later, or several editions later of a book, some tantric text like that, the reason why, what we're doing and why we're doing it is still hasn't been forgotten. That's an important type of thing. And there's one thing I'll mention not a drawback. In the modern world, it's the drawback of Hindu Tantra. right, is that the Tantric texts describe what to do, not why, right? The why is given in all the Puranas taken together, right, and in oral tradition, right? In the Buddhist Tantras, the Buddhist mind is different, right? And so they wrote not only what, but also tremendous philosophy, right, to justify and explain what's happening, why it's being done from the Buddhist angle, right? And the Shaivites, the Shaivite Tantra of Kashmir, they also one of the few that gave some philosophical reasons, symbolic philosophical reasons of what. In the Hindu Tantras, it's their manuals, right? The seeds are there in the manuals in some of the mantras, the Vinyoga mantras, but it's passed down through oral tradition more than anything. So within our very limited understanding of the oral tradition as well as the textual tradition, we're trying to share a little bit, not a full revelation that's given like from guru to disciple type thing, but I really believe that we should have some. The scriptures themselves say that part of a ritual is knowing why it's done. It's one of the offerings, right? So that's and to do something without any knowledge doesn't have it's not without power, but it's not. I think in the modern time, I don't think it's acceptable to do things without some reason, even though it's not complete. We know it's not a complete reason, but some idea, some beginning idea to understand why it's being done, what we're doing. All right, Hari Om Tat Sat, Jai Guru. And I'm 2 minutes late for Arati, not too bad. I have to push a button.